And as I mentioned in yesterday's video where I reviewed the Pulse 3D headphones for the PlayStation 5, I recently bought a PlayStation 5, and I bought it off of a Scalper. I don't say that proudly, FYI. This makes me a massive hypocrite, considering that I always advocated for people to not do exactly what I did here. But since YouTube is my full-time job and I'm a tech reviewer, the PS5 would be a valuable piece of tech to have around to make videos for. So I can make the argument that I bought one for work, which I did. However, I want to tell you why this wasn't a good idea from the perspective of just a regular consumer, somebody that is just there and just wants a PlayStation 5 to play video games and nothing else, and why you definitely should not give in. Wait for stock to normalize. So let's go ahead and dive in with my review. Before we continue, I just want to remind you that we have a Twitch channel where we stream every Friday and Saturday from 8 p.m. and to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, so why not go ahead and drop a follow? And also don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and also make sure to check out the merch store. There's plenty of black and white sweetness to choose from up there, so go ahead and check that out. And then make sure to take a look at the podcast as well, as the podcast always goes live every Wednesday and Sunday. And with that said, enough rambling, let us get straight into the video. So let's start off with an unboxing, which admittedly is really nice. I did buy the all-digital edition PlayStation 5, though I did want the disc version. I just kind of had to settle for this one, but that's alright for now. It comes in this beautiful and gigantic box with a handle. Open that up and you're going to find a smaller box inside with accessories like the power cord, an HDMI cable, a USB-C cable for charging, and the controller itself, the DualSense controller, which is a beautiful controller. And then you can just keep digging even deeper and you're going to find the rest of the packaging that protects the PlayStation 5, and it is going to be wrapped up in a bunch of this stuff over here. So yeah, I think we're pretty much ready to actually talk about the system. And now the exterior design of this console is going to be really nice. This is the aesthetic I would expect for my own setup, since I very much love the monochrome black and white aesthetic. It is a very sleek console, though it does feel plasticky. You will notice the button engravings on the innermost part of the outer shell too, which actually feels really nice when you stroke your finger around it. Now on the front there's going to be a USB-C port, a USB-A port, and a power button. On the back there's going to be an Ethernet port, HDMI port, power port, and 2 USB-A ports. This system is really hefty when you carry it. It is actually pretty heavy, and without a disk drive for that matter. You can actually use it in either a vertical or horizontal position, but I like to keep it standing for aesthetic reasons, and also because it just helps in saving space on my desk. And now the DualSense controller is one that I won't be touching on too much here, since I already made a comparison video regarding it that allowed me to go into great detail about it, where I compared it to a bunch of other controllers. But I will say that this is a great controller, the best first-party PlayStation controller, and I really like it. It's got special triggers that add resistance whenever it makes sense, of course, like when you're weakened and it's harder to shoot your gun or your bow, for instance, and the haptic response is very good on this controller too, as well. So, you know, this controller does contribute a lot to immersing you in games and things like that, and I have found it to be a pretty awesome controller. It's been a very great upgrade from the DualShock 4 controller, to be frank. Now, the software is also really nice here. Once you turn on the PlayStation 5 and set it up for the first time, the interface is very beautiful and looks more packed than the PlayStation 4's rather barren and boring interface. I really like it, and it's insanely snappy thanks to the SSD built in. It is quite beautiful, and it already has a bunch of the streaming apps that you had on the PlayStation 4, so hey, go ahead and go nuts. You can also remote play games from your PlayStation 5 to your PS4, which I plan on using a lot since I actually keep my PlayStation 4 near my TV, which is actually where I do all my gaming from bed, so just when I'm relaxing. But for the more hardcore stuff, I'm going to keep my PS5 on my PC desk, because it looks really good there, and also because, well, I just have an extra screen for it there. But the software here is going to be really nice, and Sony has done a great job, to be honest. And now, what about game performance? It is really impressive, to be frank. The only next-gen game I have for it is going to be Demon's Souls Remake, because it's the only one that isn't on another platform already that I actually care about right now. This game not only looks absolutely beautiful, in performance mode on my 1080p monitor, but it runs at a very stable 60 frames per second. This game looks like a next-gen title for sure, and I don't need any kind of special display to really see the beauty in how these games have advanced up until now, and kind of what to expect for the future. But because it is a next-gen game, also, you know, it should have that. The physics and just the visuals in general really show the prowess of the PlayStation 5. But this is just a beginning, and we should expect to see more in the future, like with Final Fantasy 16 and when that comes out. But now this all really leads back to my word of advice. The PlayStation 5 isn't worth paying extra for right now, even if you don't have a gaming PC. The same goes for the Xbox Series X and S. Like I said, regarding the PlayStation 5, just about every game on it right now is on another piece of hardware, and even last-gen hardware for that matter. Games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Spider-Man Miles Morales, the new 2K games, and more. The only reason why, as a consumer, would want the PlayStation 5 is really just for Demon's Souls Remake at this time, the only PlayStation 5 exclusive. And even then, it's not worth shelling out potentially double of what this console is supposed to cost just to play one or two games that you may not be playing on other platforms, even though pretty much every other game you can play on other platforms if you have them. It might feel like it's worth it at first, but then you'll realize that as it currently stands, it's just a ripoff. Stock will normalize eventually. I know that it's really tough to get your hands on one right now though, trust me, that's why I went the Scalper route. And there are many reports claiming that in the next few months, that should be the case, you know, that stock should in fact be much closer to normalizing at least. And by then, there still aren't going to be that many more games available, to be honest. But with that said, I also want to tell you to not bother desperately sitting behind a nearly hopeless queue whenever retailers randomly drop stock, because you'll most likely be really disappointed when you can't get your hands on any, or just like buy one after just seconds of being there because it just all ends up running out. I get that frustration. What I'm trying to say here is that you should feel happy if you get one at MSRP, but don't let your excitement justify paying any more than what the PlayStation 5 actually costs at retail. I'm not going to shame you if you bought one from a scalper, because that would be extra hypocritical, because right now there really isn't much to do on it anyway. It really might not be the way to go. So in conclusion, just wait. I know it's hypocritical of me to say that, but I would rather save you some money here if I can. If you already have a PlayStation 5, then great, enjoy it. It is a great system, but if you don't already have one, then just wait for stock and don't stress over a game system that doesn't have a lot of games right now anyway. Hopefully you did still enjoy my overview of the PlayStation 5, and hopefully you will learn from my foolishness, even though still it was something that sort of kind of couldn't really be avoided considering my field. But yeah, with that said, do make sure to subscribe if you're interested in the Tech Summit podcast. That does go up twice a week, and I also like to stream on Twitch, so do make sure to stop by for that. Links to all of my social media are going to be down in the description. But with that said, this has been Francisco from Tech Summit. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be seeing you all later. Enjoy.